Hi guys, welcome back to Simbright Fashion Academy channel. I'm so happy to be with you today. I hope everyone is fine as well. Thank you very much for all your subscriptions, and if you are new to this channel, please kindly hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this each week. Share this video to family and friends. Like this video, drop your comments, your suggestions as well on the description, on the suggestion comment box. Okay, so thank you very much for being with Simbright Fashion Academy once again. Today is going to be the making of this illusion neckline you are seeing right on the screen. And to begin this tutorial right away, you can see I have my fresh pattern paper here. You can see I kept it on fold. Can you see the paper is on fold? Okay, so that is the first thing you are going to do. You share the paper into two equal parts. You place it on fold. You can see it's a full fresh pattern paper which I quickly folded this way. That is the first thing you are going to do. Now the next thing we are going to do, we are going to determine our vertical lines, right from our making our border lines from the shoulder to the bust point to the under bust and to the front length. Okay, then we are going to create our armhole as well before we start off this tutorial. So let us quickly do that. These are my vertical lines. I took all measurements from the shoulder line. Okay, I took the measurement of my bust point, my under bust, and my front length of my half length. Then coming over to the chest line, I dropped my shoulder by 1 inch, and right from the 1 inch shoulder line that I dropped, I took 8 inches. How did I get this 8 inches? I simply divided my bust circumference. This is my bust circumference of 40 inches, taking the tape around my bust, divided by 6, which is standard. Then add 1.5 to it, that is standard as well, and I have 8 inches. Okay, so whatever your bust is, just impute your bust circumference here, divide by 6 and add 1.5, you'll be getting your armhole depth. So this armhole depth, I place 8 inches, you can see, to determine my chest line. And I found the midpoint, which is 4 inches. I came in by a quarter, 3/4. That is 0.75 of an inch, connected with my straight line and to the chest line. This is my bust span. My bust span is the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. You can see I placed it all on the lines of bust point, under bust, and half length. So the next thing we want to do, which is the second stage, is to divide your shoulder seam line by 2. This is my shoulder seam line. I have here 5 inches. I divided it by 2 at 2.5. So at this 2.5, I'll quickly connect it right to my bust point. Okay, can you see? That is the second thing you are going to do. So the next thing we are going to do is to determine our bust radius. Our bust radius is the measurement from the bust point to the under bust. Whatever difference you have, you take your tape all around. So I'm going to take my tape all around. I'm going to make a dotted line, which will serve as a guideline for this neckline illusion. I've made dotted lines with my bust radius. Taking my tape right from the bust point, I took the difference between my bust point and under bust. I took it all around. So this is the area my bust is going to sit. Okay, so it will now guide me on how exposed I want my cleavage to be on this illusion neckline. So right now, to create this illusion neckline, I'm going to start all the way from the bust point line on the center front, and I'm going to come up by 3 inches. At this 3 inches point, I'm going to make a mark. Can you see? So at the 3 inches, I'm going to come in by 0.5. From the center front, I'll come in by 0.5. You can also come in by a quarter of an inch. It depends on your 3/4 of an inch, 3/4. Okay, depending on how exposed you want the neckline to be. So coming over to the shoulder seam line, on this line that connects the bust point, I'm going to come down by 3.5. You can also come up by 3 inches, depending on how you want the illusion how exposed you want the illusion neckline to be. So right now, I'm connecting the 3.5 inches to the 0.5 inch mark I made. So I'll be connecting it using the curvy part of my pattern master. I'm going to place it in a way that it will give me a very nice curve. Okay, so from the 0.5 I'm going to make a mark to the 3.5, and I'm going to make a little extension because we are going to tighten our upper bust at this line. Can you see? So let me make the line to be, I need it to come out very properly, okay, for you to see. All right, so you can see I have my illusion neckline coming out right now. So at this 0.5 I'm going to connect all the way from the 0.5 to the waistline. I'm connecting this line to nothing. Okay, I'm connecting it to nothing on the waistline. So you can see what I just did right here. I believe you are seeing what I'm doing. So you can see the illusion neckline is coming out already. Okay, right now the next thing I want to do is to tighten the under bust. How do I do that? On the under bust, I'm going to come in this way by the side of the center front, and I'm taking 0.5 inch, and on the side of the front, this other side of the front, I'm going to work with 2 inches. Can you see? I'm working with 2 inches right away. Okay, so you can, it depends on your bust size anyway, but I have a video that really explained in detail how you take your accurate cup size on this bust tightening. Okay, is the video of how I made corset with yoke. I'll be dropping the link to that video on the description box below for you to check it out to determine your actual bust, the actual intake you are going to take for your under bust tightening. So but for the purpose of this tutorial, I just took 0.5 and I took 2 inches on this side, everything being 2.5 inches. Then coming to the bust point, I'm going to come down by 1 1/4, and I'm going to come up by 1 1/4. This also depends on your bust size. Okay, but visit the video so that it is really self-explanatory and it will help you to determine which one to take. Okay, so I'll be placing my ruler like this. Okay, I'll make sure you see how I place. Don't place your ruler anyhow. Okay, make sure you place it in a way. You can see how I placed it anyway. Okay, so just follow the same process and place it. Okay, you are going to get a good curve. So as I did this, the next thing is to flip my ruler this other way, and I'm connecting the 0.5 in this manner back to the 1.25. Now coming over to the waistline, I'm also going to take 0.5 inch on this side, and this time around I'm going to take 1.5. Remember I took 2 inches here, but on this other part I'm taking 1.5. So all together I have 2 inches here. All together here I have 2.5 inches. So I'll quickly connect with my ruler to this part, and I'll also do the same to this part. You can see what we have right now. So I'm going to shade off this part that is not necessary. We are not making use of this dart at all. So I'm going to shade it so that you know we are cutting it off right away. So we are done tightening our under bust right now. So the next thing we want to do is to tighten the upper bust. To tighten the upper bust, I'm taking 3/4 inch on each side. So I'm going to place 3/4 inch right away. Then I'll come down this way with 3/4 inch. So all together here I have 1.5 inch to tighten my upper bust. So I'll quickly place the straight part of my pattern ruler, not the curvy part this time, but the straight part of it, connecting to the 1.25 from the bust point coming up to the 0.75. So I'll have my connection this way, and I'll flip my ruler again, you can see, and have my connection this way. So this part of the dart also is going out. We are not going to make use of it for this tutorial. All right, So having done this, the next thing we want to do is to start imputing the bust circumferences divided by 4. The circumferences, okay? So the first circumference we are taking is the bust circumference. I have a bust circumference of 40 inches here. I'm going to quickly divide 40 inches by 4, and I have 10 inches. So on the chest line, I'll be taking the measurement of my calculated bust. You can see I have the mark of 10 inches. Now coming over to the under bust, I have an under bust measurement of 33 inches. I quickly divided it by 4, and I have 8 1/4 or 8.25. So I'll be placing the 8.25 from the center front on the under bust line. You can see my mark of 8.25. But I'm going to replace what I have here. I have 2.5 inch dart, and I'll quickly replace it to avoid shortage. Can you see? I've replaced that. Then coming to the waist, I also have a waist circumference of 33, which I divided by 4. I have 8.25. And this time around, I have 2 inches dart here, and I'll quickly replace the 2 inches dart. You can see my line at that point. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to, looking at this the dart, you can see when we cut this dart off, you can see we have like 1/4 of an inch going off with this dart right now, which is part of this 10 inches measurement. So I will quickly replace that 0.25 or 1/4 of an inch at this point. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to connect with my ruler right now. I'm going to connect from this point to the chest line. Can you see? So I'm connecting. You can see my connection right away. All right, so right now the next thing I want to do, we want to talk about the, all right, so now that we've connected our bust circumference to our waist right now, the next thing I'm going to do is to impute my busts. I'm going to impute the bust dart right now. So this bust dart, I have a difference between the front length and the back length of 2 inches. So I'm going to place the 2 inches from the bust point, and I'll come down by 2 inches, and I'm going to make a mark of 2 inches. I'll share it into 2, 1 inch, 1 inch, and I'm going to connect the two of them all the way from to the bust point. You can see that, okay? Then I'm going to come out a little bit, okay, like a 3/4 of an inch. Then I'm going to connect this line, okay. I'm going to connect this line to accommodate this dart. I'm connecting it back to the chest line and back to this line. Can you see that? All right, so this part of the dart also, I'm going to shade it because it's not part of the business of today. All right, so the next thing we want to do right now is to create the neckline. To create this neckline, I'll quickly come from this center line, okay. I'm going to come in by 1 inch. Then I'm going to come down by 4.5 inches. Then I'm going to connect my line from the 1 inch I came in. I'm connecting it with the curved part of my ruler because I'm creating a round neckline. You can see what I have right now. So right away, this is my neckline, and what I have in between here is the yoke for this illusion neckline. So these are the yoke, okay. I'm going to make use of a mesh for the cutting of this part, okay. You can also come in by 4 inches. It depends on your choice, okay. Assuming you want to go by the 4 inches neckline, let me come by the 4 inches, then connecting to the 1 inch. I'm going to use a dotted line this time and a green marker, so that you make your choice of whichever one that suits you, okay. So we have 2 necklines here. One is for 4 inches, the other is for 4.5, but it depends on your choice anyway. It doesn't affect anything. So the next thing we want to do right now, we want to start up cutting off our dart to close our bust dart. So to close up this bust dart, you need to cut a dart to close up a dart. So what I'm going to do right away, I'm going to cut the waist dart to enable me close up my bust dart. So I'm going to cut up to the bust point. I'm not cutting out all. Then I'll come over to this other side. I'm going to cut to that point. So you can see what I'm taking away. We don't need it. I shaded it so it's going off. Now I'm going to cut through the side seam. Remember, there's no seam allowance added to this at all. So when you are sewing, please add 2 inches seam allowance, okay? 2 inches seam allowance. So right away, I'm going to cut off at this point because we still have something to do at the shoulder line. So right now, I'm going to cut off to close up my dart. Okay, make sure you don't cut completely. So I'm going to close up my dart right now. You know I have two peppers right here. So I'm going to... Right now, people, you can see I've closed up my bust dart. The dart is no longer there right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to close up this upper bust line. You know we snatched our bust, the upper bust here. So it needs to be closed. So if I have to pick up this dart right now and pretend closing it, can you see it's moving with the shoulder? Can you see? It's actually moving with the shoulder, okay? So, and if I have to close it up, you can see my shoulder seam line is shortened. Remember, I had a shoulder seam line of 5 inches before, and now it's 3.5. And remember that this dart is 1.5. So we are going to quickly go over to the shoulder right now to replace the lost 1.5 inch dart. I believe you understand what I just did there. So I'm going to add on the shoulder seam line, I'm going to add from this point of the shoulder, the dart that was shortened. That is this 1.5. When you close it, I'll do it again for you to see. If I close it, it's moving with my shoulder. Can you see? It's moving with 1.5. And you can see I took the measurement and I no longer have my shoulder seam line as 5 inches. So all I need to do now is to extend this line to the 1.5. This is the 1.5 replacement of this dart. Remember that we took 1.5 to tighten our upper bust, and we are going to replace it over to the shoulder. So I will quickly connect this back to the armhole because I will be having a new armhole right now. So you can see where I quickly replaced that. Can you see? All right, so I have my new replacement of this dart here, okay? All right, so the next thing I want to do right now, I'll quickly cut out this dart, then I'll quickly close up this dart as well, okay? So let me quickly close up the dart so that we can cut out, okay? So I'll be picking up from this line and I'll close up my dart right away. So I'll be adding my adhesive. All right, people, so you can see I've succeeded in closing up my dart right now, okay? Like I told you, it's actually moved with our shoulder. So what am I going to do right now? You can see I've added the 1.5 inch that we lost, and at this point I'll be taking the measurement of this my shoulder seam right again, and you can see I have 5 inches back. Right from the addition of the 1.5, I've replaced the lost shoulder line. So I will quickly blend up, okay? I'm blending up to the point of the natural neckline. Can you see? That is the new blended point right now, because you can see as we close we have a little, you know, up and down. So you need to actually keep. So having blended our shoulder line the way it's supposed to be right now, so the next thing I'm going to do is to come in from the shoulder. I'm coming in by 2 inches. You can see the 2 inches mark right here. So at this point of my 2 inches, I'll quickly connect these 2 inches right from the shoulder line up to this, the illusion neckline. Can you see the illusion neckline? The new illusion neckline, I'm connecting it this way. Can you see what I have right now? So this is my yoke. Remember I told you can make use of the upper neckline, you can make use of the lower neckline. That's why I use the green marker here. Okay, so right now we are going to cut. So I'll be cutting all the way from the green line. I choose to go by a higher neckline. Okay, it's your choice. You can go by the lower one or by the higher one. So I'll follow all the way from my new seam line. I'll cut off. Now it's time to cut a new armhole line. Can you see the new armhole line? I'm cutting off through the new armhole line up to the bust point. Okay, all right, so right now I'm going to cut through our illusion. Remember, there's no seam allowance added to this pattern at all. We are going to add a seam allowance on our fabric. So I will come over to the illusion. You can see, getting to this point, I'm going to cut out through this part. Remember, this is my yoke line. Okay, this is my yoke. Okay, so right now I'm going to cut through this line we just closed on. Remember that was closed, and we are going to separate it on this line as well. Can you see? Okay, all right, so this is what I have right now. So you can see on this part right now, I have this part. I'm going to cut 2 times of it. I'll also cut this part 2 times of it. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. Okay, so after adding my seam allowance of 0.5 inch all through, and 2 inches to add my side seam to avoid having shortage, adding 0.5 inch to add my illusion, my yoke. This is my yoke right away. So I will quickly open up this yoke for you to see how it really looks like. Can you see? So that is how it looks like, people. So can you see? This is the yoke, or from the yoke to the illusion. So this is, I'm going to use this to cut out my mesh. Okay, when sewing this, you are going to add 0.5 inch on your mesh. Okay, all right, on your mesh you are going to add 0.5 inch all around. So you also add 0.5 inch on your fabric, and you bring it together and seam the two together this way, making sure you align everything together, and bringing this other part, you also seam it this way. But before you add your yoke is going to be the last you are going to add when sewing. So what you are going to do right now, the first thing you are going to do is to add your seam allowances of 0.5, 0.5. After padding, you know how to pad. Okay, I also have a video on how you can pad. I'll be dropping it on the description box below as well. So after staying and adding your seam allowances, padding, you now match up this. You are going to join this first. What I mean is that you are going to sew this first. Can you see? I pretended as if I've sewn. Then you also join this part. Okay, so after doing that, having this as one piece, the next thing is to add your seam allowance to your yoke. And as you add your seam allowance to your yoke, you'll be sewing this way for one part of it. Can you see what we have right now? So this is how we come to the end of this tutorial, people. If you find this content helpful, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell, like this video, share to family and friends to benefit from Seeing Right Fashion Academy. Drop your comments and suggestions on the comment section as well. Thank you very much for coming to this class. For the back of this, please, you are free to make any back design of your choice. If you feel like you need a yoke at the back, you can do as well. You need it plain, you know how to cut out your back. Okay, all right. And if you don't know, please, I have lots of videos you can visit to find out how other bags where the back bodies are created. So thank you very much for coming. Have a good day. Bye.